Okay, but I gotta go. I'm on my show live, and I'm you. But I want to congratulate my friend Angela. She just finished her doctoral program. Woo! I'm on my live show, Dr. Angela. All right, I'll talk to you later. All right, bye. Welcome, y'all, to the Dr. Dare live show. Friday night topic hop. We're gonna cover two topics. And once I get everything set up, yes. But I was just talking to my colleague who just completed her doctoral program, and yeah, so I'm excited for her. Oh, did I show that twice? So welcome. We are live to the Dr. Bear Show, YouTube and Facebook. And I'm trying to see why my captions aren't showing. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so we're covering two topics tonight. Once you get in, make sure you click share. We're covering topic number one is Daunte Wright is dead due to a police officer claiming she made a mistake, gun versus taser. Do you think it was a mistake or not? There are people blaming the victim because he is this resisted arrest. Excuse me, resisted arrest. What are your thoughts on that? And then our second question is Iyanla Vanzant stated this is her last season of the show Fix My Life. Do you think the show negatively impacts people's idea of what mental health therapy looks like? And let's discuss this. So welcome. When you come in, click share. Let me know how your week has been so far. I had a great week. Yeah. Turned a year older, and we will be discussing these two topics. So when you first come in, click share. Let me know if you can hear me or not. So that's one thing. Anyway, let me know when you come in. Thanks. Yes. Welcome. This week has been filled with so many different things. There's been mass shootings and police killings and just a crazy week on that with a bunch of news. And so, yeah, I knew I had to cover one of those topics. And then the second topic is kind of talking about Iyanla Vanzant saying that she's going to leave the show. If you're a therapist, a lot of therapists don't like that style that she uses. So that was always a talk. So we'll be covering those two things. But just a lot has went on this week. The George Floyd trial, I believe, is still going on. There was a mass shooting at a FedEx building. Yeah, it's just a lot. So when you come in, click share. Sorry. Yep. A lot going on. Yes, there we go. I wanted to congratulate my friend Angela. We didn't start at the same time, but we were in the doctoral program at the same time. And she just completed her program today, and I'm so excited for her because that journey is really hard. Anyway, thank you. So join in. When you come in, click share. Please let me know if you can hear me or not. You can hear me or not. Please let me know. Anyway, hope everybody is having a good week. Like I said, it's been a crazy week for just all these things that are happening. The gun violence and the mass shootings and all of those things. Hey, Tanisha, how are you? How's your week been? Thanks for that birthday video. It was cute. Oh, good. Thank you. That video was cute. I did that song tonight too. Yeah, so just a lot going on this week, and you know, I was off for 2 days, which was a good break, but I still had papers to grade. I still had clients to see, so it really wasn't off, but it was off enough. So yeah, we have two topics tonight. We're talking about the first question is what's that? Let me find it. I lost my place. So if you're just getting in, click share and coming in, and we'll start momentarily trying to give people time to come in. Our topics for today, where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm on the wrong thing. So here we go. Yeah, so the first topic is Daunte Wright is dead due to a police officer claiming she made a mistake, gun versus taser. Do you think it was a mistake or not? And then there's another part of that question is there are people blaming the victim because Daunte resisted arrest. What are your thoughts on that piece? That's the first question. Hey Pat, how are you? Glad you can join. I hope your business is going good. Your sales are up there. I might have to have you on the show, on the Dr. Dare show, and we talk about some jewelry stuff. I can put you side by side with me, and you can do that. Number two is Iyanla Vanzant stated that this is her last season of the show Fix My Life. Do you think this show negatively impacts people's ideas of what mental health therapy looks like? Let's discuss. So yes, 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 yes. So welcome everybody. Check in. Let me know how you feeling, where you from. Share this video. It's Friday. Woo! It is Friday, Friday, Friday. Oh, what a relief it is. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. And we will get started in just a second, just giving people a little more time to come in. But I won't hold you long because I have an early morning. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll jump right in. Not going to be on here long. So our first question is Daunte Wright is dead due to a police officer claiming she made a mistake, gun versus taser. Do you think it was a mistake or not? There are people blaming the victim because he resisted arrest. What are your thoughts? So let me know your thoughts on that topic. Glad y'all are chiming in. Flop, flop, fizz, fizz. Why am I singing that? Why am I singing that old commercial that's telling my age and all that stuff? So what are y'all doing on this Friday night, Pat? How's New York City? Tanisha, what are you doing tonight? So what are y'all thoughts on that first question? Daunte Wright is dead due to police officer claiming she made a mistake. Gun versus taser. Do you think it was a mistake or not? And Pat, you say you don't blame the victim, right? And the reason I brought that piece up is because I posted a, hey Mike, what's going on? So you and Pat both say you don't blame Daunte. However, during this time and age, why are black men still resisting white cops and any cops? And that's true. And I had posted a video on my Dr. Dare show on Instagram, and this Caucasian man came in and he was like, that that thug is dead because he resisted a result. I mean, he resisted arrest. Can't talk. And so that's what triggered me to ask this question because there are a lot of people blaming him. And Tanisha says, no, it wasn't a mistake. Yeah, because as you can see, I don't know if you guys have saw like the pictures, the gun versus the taser. The taser was like bright yellow. it looked like it was lighter than the actual gun, I'm sure. So, like a friend of mine said, he believes that that officer just got upset because Daunte was resistant and got pissed off and wanted to take matters into her own hands and shot him. Tanisha says, I'm keeping in low tonight, only being available for my mom right now. Had to cancel a lot of things. Okay. And that's totally understandable. Yeah. Totally understandable. How's your mom doing, Tanisha? Anyway, so yeah, it's been horrible. So we agree not to blame Daunte, but a lot of people are blaming the victim. Like, like I said, I had people on my page going, okay, let me stop one. I'm paying attention. Yeah, giving me the back talk on this situation. I just think it's horrible. I'm just like, I know people want to say, well, you shouldn't resist. He had a warrant, but that still doesn't justify killing him. And like, I don't know, I saw on a Facebook page the other day where there was a Caucasian man that got pulled over by a group of cops, and he was able to talk and curse and yell, and he didn't get killed. So there is some difference there. And so how do we think we can change what's happening? I think you said it, Mike. Like, why are we still resisting arrest? Like, I'd rather you go home with your parents, go home to your family, so that in another time you can actually you can go to court and say, I was pulled over, unjustly or whatever. But then that way you're able to defend yourself and you can kind of move forward. But if you resist arrest and you get killed like Daunte did, and then your family is left to grieve. But did y'all know that Daunte, one of his teachers, I don't know if he was his teacher directly or she was his teacher, but is the girlfriend of George Floyd. And Pat says, I'm ready online. People blaming the victim. Yeah, they are. Tanisha, you say your mom's okay. She should be released from the hospital tomorrow. That's good to hear. Hey, Karen. And so, yeah, Pat, there's a lot of people blaming the victim. But we do have to, I wish I could like teach some kind of course or something to Black and brown people that like we kind of got to stop resisting because it's getting us killed. Not saying that it's right, but we have to approach this situation better because they're going to keep killing and getting off, and it's an issue. So for y'all who are just joining, make sure you click share. Yeah. So number one's question is, Daunte Wright is dead due to a police officer claiming she made a mistake, the gun versus taser. And do you think it was a mistake or not? And I know a lot, Tanisha says she didn't think it was a mistake. Pat and Mike, I didn't see, and Karen, I didn't see your comments as far as, do you think it was a mistake or not? What is your opinion of this issue? So we had a lot of stuff going on this week. Hey, Karen, you could develop a course like that, Dr. Dare. Yeah, I think we need one, like, because we can't, I don't know if we feel like we are, as Black and brown people, do we feel like resisting cops is a way that we're like protesting or whatever, but that's not the way. I don't think that's the way to do it, because you're going to get killed, the officer's going to get off, your family's going to suffer. And not by any way am I saying that that is an excuse for somebody to be killed. I'm just trying to talk to the people who are alive. And what are y'all thoughts? I'm just talking. Karen says we need a We need a course like that, and we should never blame the victim, right? And Karen, I don't know if you heard me, but I had posted a video about the Daunte situation the beginning of the week, and the Caucasian gentleman posted on my page like, that thug is dead because that thug resisted arrest. And I know he wanted me to chime in and have this debate with him, but I just simply just deleted it. I'm like, I'll use that as a talking point in this show, because some people out there feel that. They feel like if you resist, that's what you get. And so now we have to say, how can we change that dynamic? Because we don't want that to keep happening. We don't want people to keep dying because they get pulled over by the cops. We don't want to have PTSD every time we're riding in a car as a black or brown person, because we're afraid if we get pulled over by the cop, we are going to get shot. Okay. And Pat says, I agree with everything you're saying. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Pat, so there's a twofold here. We have to figure out how to change the way we interact with cops. And then the cops need to be trained, threefold. The cops need to be trained on diversity and not letting pull out your gun be the result of the end result. And then, and getting training for ourselves. Yeah. Karen says, I appreciate you not taking the person's bait and deleting the post. Oh yeah, I have to do that all the time. When you're in social media and you're putting out videos, and especially YouTube videos or Instagram videos, and you're talking about a certain topic, oh yeah, I get all kinds of stuff. But I was prepared that was going to happen. And so I'll read it, jot it down, and use it as a talking point in a discussion. But I never debate back and forth, because to me, there's no need to do that, because that's that person's opinion. They've already made up their mind. They feel like that is a justification to kill someone. But then in the flip side, a Caucasian person can do those same things and not die. And so, yeah, I don't go for the bait of getting negative comments on my YouTube videos, but I expect it. It's a part of social media process. If you're going to put out videos, you're going to put out, if you're talking about a controversial topic, you're going to get backlash. So you have to have tough skin, and I'm okay with it. I just read it, write it down, use it for a talking point, delete it. Okay. And Mike says, no mistake. She was training new cops. She did not want to be disrespected by a male, let alone a black male, and she was showing off her authority. And I had someone else tell me that same thing, Mike, that was the problem, because Daunte resisted, and it was an ego thing. And so you whip out the gun and you shot him, because you know the difference between, where your taser is and where your gun is. And you training new cops, I would hope you know where those two things are. And again, I'm going to put this disclaimer: all cops are not bad. We're not generalizing. I teach my clients in therapy, we never generalize. We never say that because one person does something in a group, they're all that way. Or you never do that, because that's not fair to cops, because we have good cops and we have bad cops. So I'm just putting that out there. So if somebody tries to chime in and say we're bashing cops, we're not. We're just saying that. And Tanisha says the cops just get so trigger happy, with black people, whether they resist arrest or not. And you're right, Tanisha, there are cases where some people didn't resist and they end up shot and dead. I remember that therapist, he didn't die, but he had his hands up and they had guns drawn on him, and he was seeing one of his clients and he was put in that situation. So, it's just scary. I don't know, that piece, I don't know what the resolution is. What do you think the resolution for when you're not resisting arrest and cops are pulling out guns on you? One thing I do notice in videos, when I see people we talk too much. Like, instead of like, let the cop talk and then you talk, or you talk and let the cop talk. but don't keep like going back and forth with the cop, because then you're creating this negative environment. It's just we're gonna have to learn how to interact with the cops, or we just gonna keep getting killed. Bottom line. Karen said she was training that day. That was a factor. What do you mean, Karen? Like she was training another cop, showing that new cop how things were working, which probably Karen, like you were saying, is probably why she felt disrespected. Like, okay, I'm training somebody else, and now this person is disrespecting me in front of my trainee, so I gotta show this person that the cops are in power. I think that's what you're saying, Karen. Okay. And then Karen says, yes, the talking too much is very noticeable. Yeah, I see it in videos all the time. And I'm like, just be quiet. Listen, or let the cop talk, then you talk, or you talk and let the cop listen. But don't get into because there are bad cops. There are bad cops and there are good cops. It was a factor. Karen says it was a factor why she was feeling disrespected. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. It's just I feel bad for Daunte's family. You know, I don't know. I just don't know. It's very sad that it feels like we have really reverted back to like the 1960s or the 1970s or things like that. And, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Thank y'all for sharing all of your thoughts. I think we pretty much are on the same page as far as like, maybe we do need to have some training. Maybe we need to, have some training in our community, if not, resisting arrest. But the clients, what am I talking about? The cops need training as well, because your first instinct, like Tanisha said, being trigger happy, you shouldn't be a cop, because that's yeah. Oops, let me put this down. So any other thoughts on that topic? Y'all quiet out there, y'all. Let me just talk. So anyway, to recap for all the ones who've just joined, we are welcome to the Dr. Dare Show live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, this is Topic Hop Friday, where we hop from topic to topic. And we've only covered topic number 1. And we were talking about the incident of Daunte Wright being killed due to a police officer claiming she made a mistake. And then I put it in gun versus taser, because she was indicating, or the sheriff, I don't know if she said it, but that's what the sheriff or whoever was in charge was saying, that she thought she pulled out her taser and it was a gun. And so we asked, do we think it was a mistake or not? And most people are saying that they didn't think it was a mistake. She was a trained officer. She was actually training new officers. So, yeah, we didn't think that it was a mistake. We did want to address the topic of resisting arrest with cops, and, trying to come up with a solution of teaching Black and brown communities how to interact with cops. And again, I state, the reason I have to say this is because there are some good cops, but there are also some bad cops with mental health issues, who have anger issues, who don't know how to control their temper, and as soon as they are confronted or feel disrespected, then they act out. And so that's the gist of what we have been saying on this call for topic number 1. And Karen says there was an episode on Grey's Anatomy last night where a Black doctor was pulled over. They made him empty his entire SUV on a search and left him by the road. He made it alive, but had an anxiety attack, and it was heartbreaking. Yeah, because that anxiety, is heavy. Like, I found myself, I was telling a client that the other day, like PTSD when I'm driving down the road and you see a cop and you just like, tense up or you get anxious because you're like, oh my God, you know. I've had good experiences with cops, knock on wood, when being pulled over before, but you just never know. So I don't take judgment. I'm never judging when these shootings happen. I'm never like, they should have did this, they should have did that. No, 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 no. Yeah, Pat, like you said, I believe, yeah, training on both sides, you know. But what if, the cop is already racist, so they ready, they may ready to be doing that no matter what type of, training we may get or whatever. But I agree, Pat, training on citizens and cops. Yeah. Good stuff. Karen says, just think the new officers are possibly going to think they should react the same way. Yes, Karen, and that's what actually happens. That cycle of, oh, I train you this way to beat up, people, or you are in charge. You have to show your authority, and so those new cops come in with the same mindset that that's the way they're supposed to handle things. So yeah, it's like a cycle of bad behavior. It is scary. It is, especially, and I think everybody's scared of the cops now. Even if you're a Caucasian, or it's like that PTSD is right there. Yep, Pat, both sides need training. I truly believe that, because we all, black and brown people, need to understand how to not resist, and have a conversation with the cops so that you can get out of there. I was watching it was a clip. It was a clip where this lady and her friend were in the car, and the cop pulled them over, and they were so emotional that they were just both talking over each other, just, kept saying they wanted to get out of there and they were afraid of the cops, which I don't blame them. But the one lady did tell her friend, she was like, be quiet and let me talk. Because I was feeling the same way, like, hey, stop. One person talks at this one time, because you start creating that chaotic environment. Hey, but I don't want this. But the cops do not have to kill you, because they don't kill everyone. They don't kill, you can see Caucasian. I seen one video where a Caucasian man he actually grabbed the gun from the lady cop and was running around with the gun and running from her, and he didn't get killed. He was handcuffed and walked away, But a lot of training on both sides. We talked about this before in one other show. I think when Dre was here, we were talking about cops needed diversity training, multicultural training, how to handle different races, anger management, mindfulness, being present in the situation, understanding what you're feeling at the moment. And Pat says, my brother got pulled over and I was in the car. I was scared. Yeah, that's why I'm like, Pat, I think everybody now is just like, oh my God, I don't want to get pulled over. I try to keep make sure I'm not speeding, make sure, I'm not running through red lights or stop signs, because I don't want any interactions with any cops that's not necessary. I don't. I really do. I try to, but it's PTSD, because you watch it on TV. You've seen all these shootings. You've seen, innocent people get killed because they were just in their car and they got pulled over. And so that does create that PTSD syndrome where you're like scared to, get out. And then when stuff like this happens, because Daunte just got pulled over for I forgot what I was going to say. He got pulled over for just a routine traffic stop, and it just went left. And so, like I said, if you're just joining, I had posted a video about this story and got this man just going off about, Daunte was a thug and he's dead because he resisted arrest. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And Pat, you said your brother said to be quiet. Yeah, I think that's the best. Just be quiet. Understand why they pulling you over. You can question. I mean, you can say, well, what was I doing or whatever, but hurry up. My thing is get it, have the conversation so you can get out of there as fast as you possibly can. Because the more you talk across them, the more you get, the longer you're sitting there, and the more opportunity it is for this thing to go left. And so, yeah, that's the goal of that. Anything else on this topic? Yeah. It's like I said, I have a early morning playing with my sister Kelly, and that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. So, yeah, next topic before I lose myself. Okay, there we go. Copy. Oops. Okay. I know I saw somebody just post another topic. So let me see. Karen says, got pulled over once at 1 a.m. I wasn't myself, and the cop yelled at me the whole time. I had left a babysitter assignment, and I called the father of the child I was sitting for, and he came to sit in the car with me. It was a traffic stop. That was scary, right, Karen? That's the thing. That's what I'm like, watching all of this on TV and seeing these different situations happen, I think creates PTSD when it comes to cops. Which is PTSD is anxiety, and you like, oh my God, am I gonna live through this or So yeah, good stuff. And Pat says it was a very scary experience. I'm sure. So we all agree on that. So the second topic, and we can still talk about the first topic too, but the second topic, and I don't know if you guys even know who Iyanla Vanzant is. She does therapy with like celebrities and sometimes just regular people as well. But her approach in therapy is a little abrasive and aggressive and assertive and all of those verbs. And a lot of professional therapists are like, no, that's not the way you conduct therapy. But Iyanla Vanzant saying this is her last season because she feels like she's not living a peaceful life. She gets a lot, I guess, stuff from people in social media and all of that stuff. So I'm sure she hears a lot of negative talk. But anyway, I wondered how this show impacts people in general from going to see therapy. Is it scary? What are your thoughts on that? Or have any of y'all ever even watched the show? Because it can be kind of, a little aggressive at times. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this topic? She gets a lot of negative feedback or chatter. Yeah, and I think that's why she's like, she needs peace in her life now, so that's why she's giving up the show. I mean, I saw some interesting like revelations that she's displayed among people that I felt was really, really good, but maybe that style was a bit more aggressive. Like with my clients, I'm not aggressive like that, but I do call them out when I see things that they're saying that doesn't contradict with their behavior. Like I'll be like, you said this, but you're doing this. So that's not congruent. Oh, Pat, the show is called Fix My Life, and it's a therapeutic show. It's on a cable, it's on OWN network, Oprah's network. And the premise of the show is that you'll come in and you'll do like a therapy session with her, but she's very aggressive. Like she'll yell at you. I mean, make you cry, and so it is a lot of like aggressive behavior as far as, a therapy session. And most professional therapists don't agree with that style. There is a style that we call in therapy, it's called Gestalt, where the therapist is very like confrontational with the client, but it's after you build what we call rapport. Like you establish a relationship with the client before you just jump in and just start telling them about themselves. Yeah, it's been on for years now. Pat, it's a really popular show, but I was wondering, so Pat, if you saw a therapy session on TV and the person was kind of aggressive and made the person cry, would that make you second guess going to therapy? This is basically. And Mike says, I love her show. I always learn something about myself. Yep. And that's what I mean. She does have some great revelations, some great insights, some great perspectives. But it does get a little, it gets a little aggressive. Yeah. Anything else on this topic? Anything else on this topic? Pat's like, I never watched that. It's a pretty good show, I think. And if you like if you're a therapist, you really kind of you listen to it, but you know, you're also listening to your training that you got when you became a therapist. So okay, what is her credentials? And Mike, I don't think she has any as far as a therapist. Let me look that up before I speak. I'm gonna type that in my Pat. The question is, while I'm looking this up, what are Iyanla? Oh, it's already there. What are her credentials? She holds a doctorate degree from the City University of New York School of Law and a master's degree from the University of Santa Monica Center for the Study and Practice of Spiritual Psychology. She currently resides in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and she is an ordained New Thought minister. So she doesn't really have like what we would call therapeutic skills. She's not a licensed therapist or a licensed psychologist. She has a degree in psychology, but you can have a degree in psychology and it doesn't tell you how you're supposed to interact with your clients. Like when I became a therapist, the graduate program, we actually learned how to communicate with our clients, how to build rapport with them. Like you get to know them first before you just jump in into telling them like it is, or and one thing they taught us, you don't give advice as a therapist. That's not our job. Our job is to give you a different perspective on the situation, or like have you see it in a different perspective. Yeah, Mike, and I think that's what she probably would be, a glorified life coach. Like not really focusing on, like, see, I see patients that have anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, like mental health issues. But Mike says you can't judge her as a therapist if she is not one. Right. But I guess that's what they're doing to her. But like I was saying, most therapists they'll watch the show and they're like, that's not the way you're supposed to be doing things. So they would never be like, but my thing is, if people are watching it out there, yeah, Karen says definitely a life coach. If people are watching it out there, especially people of color, and they're seeing this as a therapy session, do you think, this is a question too for you, Pat, do you think that creates like a negative perception of what therapy is? Because that's not really how therapy is going to be when you go there. We're not going to be jumping down your throat and, why are you not doing this? Why are you not, that's not the way we conduct therapy. But what are your thoughts on that, y'all? Karen says definitely a life coach. Yep, a life coach. So that's the question again, Pat, that I just put up. She does have the same thing Steve she does the same thing Steve Harvey did on his talk show. Yeah, you're giving advice. And that's the first thing we're trained, Mike, as a therapist, we're taught not to do that. That's not because, say, for instance, this is a prime example. Say, for instance, you have a client that is from a woman client that's from India, and they are typically very submissive to their husbands. And so if the Indian lady came into the therapist session, and me as a therapist, we know the background of that culture, and me to tell the woman, because the woman is saying, I'm having a hard time with my husband, I don't and then I tell the woman to, well, you know what, just leave your husband. And she leaves her husband, and that makes her situation worse. Then that's me as a therapist, I did not help her. She actually is probably worse off. And so you have to think about that when you're doing therapy with people. Is like, the information that I share with that person, am I going to make them go home and be in a worse situation that could potentially harm them more? And that's the difference between what we don't like to see on Iyanla Vanzant's kind of show. It's like when those people leave your presence, and that's why people don't understand why you can't do therapy with friends. It's just not. That's a dual role, and you don't want to do that. But it's so many things, so many caveats to being a therapist that you can't just say, hey. And yeah, I agree. Steve Harvey did do the same thing. Karen says, I don't believe she uses the term therapy. Yes, I feel that those who never tried therapy, you would be put off from her approach. Right. But people in their minds put this is kind of therapy because you're sitting there with this person who's supposed to be a therapist. But anyway, Pat says, yes, I think I would pull back and went and go see her. Yeah, Pat. And so what it was, she doesn't really, I mean, it's really probably basically for show more so than anything. And yeah. Yeah, check it out. It's really good. Like Mike said, he learned a lot, and I've seen some shows that really did bring out some really important information. I'm actually writing a book, and I have actually put some of this one show that I saw that was relevant to my book that I'm writing that was really good. Yeah, Pat Pat says, Karen says, Pat, it's on YouTube, but if you have demand, you can actually go and pull it up. Kind of like ordering it, because I do it all the time. You can pull up a show for no cost at all. Sorry, there's an ambulance going by. Yeah. So anything else? So you guys are like on her side. It sounds like we shouldn't judge her because she's not a therapist. She never calls it. Y'all say she never calls the show therapy. I never paid attention to that. I have to go back and look at that and see if that word is even mentioned. Yeah, I was just wondering, did it make people think that's never been to therapy see this and say, I'm not interested in therapy now because if this is the way things happen in there, I don't want that. But yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I think it's a good show, Mike. Yep. But she'll be ending it. She says she wants peace of mind. I think people were giving her a lot of negative feedback, and she's like, ugh, it's time to go. And I can imagine, because like I said, even my little simple videos, I have one video right now on Instagram that is probably like 2,000 people on there now. They just keep chiming in on this video, but I get a lot of stuff. I get a lot of negative comments, but I just don't read them. Oh, Mike, it made you tear up because you related to something that was on there. And Karen says she used to be a life coach back in the 1990s on a TV show called Starting Over. Oh, that's interesting. So Karen, is that where Oprah pulled her from? Do you think? Because I was wondering how she got like got the notoriety to be on that show or to be on their own network. I would love to do a show like that, but it would be more based on therapy and the principles of therapy and not so, but not like when I'm doing therapy with my clients, I do confront them, but it's after several sessions of me getting to know them and they're getting to know me, and I feel like I can talk to them that way, but not that exact same way, but I can confront them with stuff in their behavior. I think she did Oprah and that show at the same time. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't really known the background of her history. Anyway, good stuff. Good stuff. Two good topics. A lot of stuff has been happening this week. What do y'all think about all these mass shootings? Like, what is really going on? What is really, really, really going on? She used to have her own talk show too. Okay. So, yeah, just a busy week. Just a lot of the George Floyd case is going on. Then this Daunte shooting. Then there was a mass shooting at a. Nope, Dr. Phil is not a therapist either. He's not even a doctor. They posted that. Hey, Kelly. So Mike says Dr. Phil. Let me look up Dr. Phil for you, Mike. Dr. Phil is a doctor. No, I don't think he's a real doctor. I remember hearing that. He's got a PhD now. Phil received his PhD from the University of North Texas and was licensed to practice in the state of Texas. Phil is a real doctor in the sense he has a doctoral degree. He's legally, so he has what I have. He's not a medical doctor, but he's a doctor of philosophy. But he's not licensed to practice, like, yeah. So yeah, Mike, hopefully that answers your question. Gun in the streets. Was guns in the streets? Yes. So what do you think, Pat? Do you think there should be more? Do you think everybody deserves to be able to purchase a gun? What do you think about that situation? He's a PhD, Karen. Now I just looked it up. He graduated from the University of Texas, um, University of North Texas. Yeah. So what do y'all think about the gun laws? Do you think we should, like, everybody shouldn't be able to purchase a gun? This stuff is getting crazy, and I know people that are for guns will be like, guns don't kill people; people kill people. Oh, let's this. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's see what y'all are saying. Hope we never get desensitized to the mass shooting. Yeah, Karen, I think we already there because I put that on the video I think this week where I feel like we used to be like when we saw a mass shooting, you're like, oh my God, what happened? Now it's just like, oh, another mass shooting. So it's almost like we've normalized it. And I don't really know like what the root cause of that is, but sorry. Pat says, oh, Kelly's replying to Karen. Hey, Karen. Um, Pat says, nope, not everyone should be able to purchase a gun. And why not? What would be your rules, Pat? Like, or anybody out there, if you could change the gun laws, what would that look like? You done got off on a different topic. Oh, so Kelly, you're saying the black market will increase if they restrict gun ownership more than what it is already. So you're saying restricting will create additional problems, and then it would be on the black market, and then you know, at least when they register for guns, if someone gets killed, we can trace the gun back to that person or whatever. Pat said they should implement very heavy background checks. Yes, yes, and they claim they do now, but it's like back to that black market that Kelly was saying. If we have that black market, which it does exist already, it probably would just get worse. They would still get the gun somehow. Yeah. So it's almost like, anyway, we got off topic. So anyway, y'all, I don't want to keep y'all too long. We've been on here 50 minutes now, but thank you all for joining in on the Dr. Bear live show on Facebook and YouTube. And thank you for participating and talking about the hot topics. And thank you. Have a blessed weekend. Have fun. Do something fun. Practice self-care. And Mike says it's already on the black market, so it would not matter. Right. Yeah. So Kelly's just saying that it would probably increase more if they put more restrictions on gun laws, which is probably true. So anyway, y'all, I don't want to talk your heads off. Have a great weekend. Do something fun for yourself. Do some self-care. Be intentional about your self-care. Have fun. And I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Karen.